Thanks for checking out this video, and as promised, this is my top 10 so bad it's good films on Shudder, and this is being done in October of 2022, so it's just at that moment, because obviously things cycle on and off of Shudder all the time, so at this point in October 2022, this is my top 10 list, and yes, it is ranked. Also, real quick, if there are other list videos you want me to do, because people are seeming to really enjoy these, go ahead and put it in the comments. Give me some suggestions. I have another one I've thought of that I may be doing, but I'm sure there's a lot I haven't thought of that you may want to hear. So go ahead and put it in the comments. Maybe I'll do it. Anyway, let's get into my list, starting with the lowest one on the list, number 10, but still a very good time if you like So Bad It's Good films. Humanoids from the Deep. This is a Roger Corman film about literally humanoid-ish creatures from the deep that come up from the deep in this sleepy seaside town, which I love sleepy seaside towns and films. There's something about it. I don't know. It's just a wonderful setting. And they just start wreaking havoc. They are assaulting the women. They are killing the men. Well, killing everyone. And it all culminates in the very end with just this amazing scene of carnival carnage where literally the town is having a carnival and these things are just everywhere and they're just killing people. It is mayhem, and I love it. This film is ridiculous, but it is so much fun, and the practical effects, quite good. Really enjoy it. So that's my number 10. Number 9, Intruder. If you have not seen this one, don't be fooled by the fact that it has top billing for Bruce Campbell. He's in it like a minute maybe, okay? Very end of the film, he's barely in it, but it does have Sam Raimi in it, and it does have Ted Raimi in it, and it does have Danny Hicks. And Danny Hicks is the best part of this film. His performance, by far, is the best. He does such an amazing job, but it's just a fun film. It literally is a slasher that takes place in a grocery store that's about to be closing down. Cool setting. I don't see horror in grocery stores all that often, so it's just very interesting. They use it really well in the film, too, because you see, like, every part of the place. And the kills are a lot of fun. There are some really amazing practical effects, and I believe Greg Nicotero was involved with the practical effects. I may be wrong on that, but regardless, they look great. There's one kill in particular that it's like a meat saw, like bandsaw type thing. Oh man, it's fun, it's funny, it's so bad it's good. I love it. It's ridiculous. So Intruder's my number 9. Number 8, Beyond the Door. Now this is I believe, Italian film that is very much possession related, very weird. You can tell that obviously it stole a lot from The Exorcist, but it did it in just really weird ways. There are actually some things that are kind of impressive within this film, like the use of lighting, and there are some like legitimately creepy things done, but there's a young kid character who I think is the same kid who played Bob in The House by the Cemetery, who is just hilarious because he's so ridiculous, especially like the opening scene with him. Just, I'm not going to spoil it. It'll make you laugh. It's ridiculous. He also drinks pea soup, like holding the can of soup and drinks it. It's weird. So weird. But yeah, this film, I don't want to tell you too much about it. It is possession related, but it is a wild ride. You should definitely check it out. So that's why number 8 is Beyond the Door. Number 7, I've talked about this one before, Blood for Dracula. This was in my 70s superlatives, which actually Humanoids from the Deep was also in my 80s, and Intruder was also in my 80s superlatives. But yeah, Blood for Dracula, ridiculous. It says it's like a Andy Warhol presents. Apparently he wasn't that involved with it. He kind of threw some ideas at Paul Morrissey, who made the film. And Udo Kier is the reason to watch this film. Yes, it's like a wacky, weird, very sexualized Dracula film that has some crazy gore effects at the very end of the film that are a lot of fun. But it's just a weird take on Dracula, and Udo Kier's performance is what sells it as so bad it's good. So over the top, so ridiculous, but you will find yourself laughing with the over-the-top stuff that he's doing as Dracula. It's ridiculous, but definitely check it out. So my number 7, Blood for Dracula. My number 6, Rawhead Rex. If you have not seen Rawhead Rex, and you like creature films, this one was also in my 80s superlatives, you gotta see Rawhead Rex. I mean, the design of the creature itself is wonderful. Spoiler, not really a spoiler, but the mouth doesn't move, unfortunately. Great design, but no moving mouth. He does drool a decent amount, which is a lot of fun, and he does kill a decent amount, which is also a lot of fun. But it is a terrible story. It's really stupid. It's literally about some guy who's kind of on vacation in Ireland, I believe, and he he's around when this creature, Rawhead Rex, is accidentally resurrected, and then it's coming after him and a bunch of other people. The church gets involved. That's about it. I don't want to spoil anything because there's like a twist to it, but definitely see it. Just really weird choices made in this film, but it's a fun romp, and it's ridiculous, and it's stupid. I love it, though. The story is actually based off of a writing by Clive Barker, so there is like a decent basis for the story. It's just with how they pulled it off. It's so bad it's good, but I really enjoy it, so check it out. Number 6, Rawhead Rex. Now number 5, a Tobe Hooper film, a lesser-known Tobe Hooper film, Eaten Alive. This thing is crazy. This was in my 70s superlative picks. Oh my gosh. Eaten Alive is based on a true story of a guy who was killing women and feeding them to a alligator that he had and like his outside at his bar. Like, these alligators were, like, near his bar. So they kind of changed it a bit in this, and it's about a guy who's, like, a World War II veteran who's not all there, who has this crocodile who is being kept outside of his motel. Now, how people actually get to this motel, I don't know, because it seems, like, totally out in the middle of nowhere. There's a lot of fog. It's, like, in the swamps, and there's this weird red lighting throughout the whole film. There is a lot of weird acting in this, a lot of weird choices in this. It is just an odd film that you will never know where things are going. It's very left field for the entire thing. And it's not really about people being eaten alive. It's not really about the crocodile. It's more about this wacky dude who's running this really weird motel that I don't think anyone would actually stay at. So it's literally just about him finding victims, basically. And a young Robert Englund is in it, who plays this character named Buck, and Buck likes to do something that rhymes with his name, and that's where the quote came from for Kill Bill that Quentin Tarantino put in there. It's made famous by Kill Bill and Quentin Tarantino, but done by Tobe Hooper and Eaten Alive. So if you want to see the origins of that and just a wacky film overall, you must see Eaten Alive by Tobe Hooper. That is my number 5 pick. Now my number 4 pick, talked about this one before as well, I think all these were all these were or will be a part of my superlatives, so that's a little spoilery for the 90s superlatives, because that's coming up. But The Mutilator, also known as Fall Break, this is a Buddy Cooper film that's actually getting a sequel now. I couldn't believe it when I read the headline. Buddy Cooper it's either currently being filmed or it just wrapped being filmed, the sequel to this. I'm excited for it. I don't have expectations it'll be as awesomely terrible as the original Mutilator. The original Mutilator is just about a guy who loses his mother when he's younger in a very wild flashback scene where nobody really acts like the mother or the family actually got killed. It's very odd, must be seen to be believed. Then he's grown up, they flash forward, and he's going to his father's beach house, where his father happens to still be, and I guess he just snaps for some reason. It's not really explained. And he just goes stalking around while these people are staying there, killing them. The fact that they don't pick up on him being there is ridiculous. It just, like, throws the idea of, like, spatial awareness, like, totally out the window. The kills are ridiculous, they're stupid, and there's actually, like, a flash of, like, cool filmmaking at the very end of the film and a fun kind of twist to it. Not like story-wise, but like expectations-wise. Like, oh, I didn't see that coming. That's kind of crazy, but it's ridiculous. It's a lot of fun, and especially if you like terrible trash or slashers that are just, well, trash slashers that are just a lot of fun. I mean, The Mutilator is it. So number 4, The Mutilator. Number 3, a 90s film starring Gunnar Hansen, and he said that this was like his favorite film that he ever did. Mosquito. If you have not seen Mosquito and you like films about critters, especially abnormally large critters, it's literally about an alien that crashes to space, a mosquito drinks its blood, and then all of a sudden there are tons of mosquitoes that are crazy gigantic, and they're going around killing people. The actual practical effects are pretty solid. When you actually have people being eaten while having their blood sucked out by the mosquitoes, it looks pretty good. Like the proboscis that they use, it's like clear, so you see the blood going up it. But when they unsheath it, there's like all this green goo coming off. There's a scene where someone's getting sucked dry and like their eyes pop out of their head and then their eyes explode. They went all out on this. It's actually a really fun ride. It's not a good film because the script is terrible and the acting is really bad for the most part. And the dialogue's ridiculous, but it is so much fun. If you do not have fun with this film, you need to check for a pulse because you're not even alive. This is an awesome film. So that is why my number 3 pick is Mosquito. Also from the 90s is my number 2 pick, and I fell in love with this film when I saw it for the first time. I think it was last year, and that is Popcorn. Stars a guy who I feel like was Jim Carrey before Jim Carrey, and you'll see what I mean when you see the film. It is a weird setup. It's basically about a kind of like group of students who are trying to put on like a horror movie marathon. And they're doing it with like, William Castle style gimmicks where like they shock people in the seats and they, pump smells into the theater and stuff like that. It has a very fun, upbeat, festival type vibe to it, which I think is great. The film was actually shot in Jamaica, so there's Jamaican music thrown in there very randomly. But there's a film that pops up early on that kind of sets this lore within it that makes you think that there's something going on as people start getting picked off. So, yes, that there's a mystery aspect to it. People are getting picked off in really weird ways. You won't see coming what happens in the end, and once the killer is revealed, and there's still a good amount of film left when they reveal the killer, that's when it kicks into high gear fun. That's the most enjoyable stuff. Stick it out if you're starting to get bored, although I love this film all the way through. Also, the old films that they end up showing on the screens, you see a good amount of them, and they look so fun. I want to see the entirety of these films. I don't think they actually exist. I don't think they're real films, because they're kind of like ridiculous and over the top. But if they are, let me know, and I need to find them. So number 2, Popcorn. Love it. And that leads me to my number 1, was also in my superlatives picks. From the 80s, The Pit. Based off a book called Teddy, who some people have told me it's a book that's really hard to find right now, but is a good book. It's about a boy who has a teddy bear who's basically speaking to him in a sense. It doesn't really have much of a role in the movie as much as it did in the book, from what I understand. But it's basically about this kid who doesn't really have friends. He gets a new babysitter. He's weird. She doesn't care that he's weird. She doesn't pick up on any of this very randomly. He's very inappropriately like sexual towards her. And in the meantime, he finds a hole out in the woods that has a bunch of troglodytes in it, or as he calls them, trologs. I don't understand that, but he starts to feed them and then finds out that he's running out of the ability to purchase meat. And then what do you think he does? He finds another source, and it is ridiculous, and it is funny, and I actually think that the kid who played the main character of Jamie did a really good job with the role. His acting chops were really good. It's just a really weird character, and it's a really weird story, but it works a lot as a So Bad It's Good film, and that's why The Pit is my number 1 pick for this. So if there are other films that you all were thinking, oh man, I really wish this one was on his list, go ahead and put it in the comments, because either it just missed my list or I haven't seen it, and I love So Bad It's Good films, so help me out here. Tell me about more So Bad It's Good films. Or if you just want to talk about So Bad It's Good films in general, not just ones on Shudder, go ahead and do that in the comments. But do me a quick favor, hit subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell button, all that cool stuff. That's your best way to repay me for putting out free content, and just watching the videos, because there are ads involved now. So that's another way to help me out. But I really do appreciate it. And regardless, thanks for taking your time to check out this video. Oh, and remember, give me more ideas for list videos if you want me to do more. I would appreciate that. But until next time, keep it brutal.